Hello, my kings and queens and the non-binary in-betweens. TGTB here. In a poll I made, you guys really wanted that theory, and honestly, I was happy to do it. I made basically quote unquote a script because of my ADHD mind. I would end up giving up writing the whole script, so I just did a bunch of notes I have to go through. So if I go off randomly, you know why. So yeah. This theory I kind of explained a bit, like it's kind of relevant to my theory of mind, muscle, and morality theory, which actually I commented was kind of going around the fandom a bit, but it was soon known as M. I don't know, that could be just something someone was trying to tease me with, I don't know. So, anyway, take what I'm about to say with a grain of salt because it's the most controversial things, and whenever I mention it, there are so many people trying to disprove me. But that's the fun of this show, isn't it? Anyway, it's basically, I call it the reset theory, and essentially, like, it's a way of kind of how Solar could come back. I know that there is a thing like a potential revival or something like that episode, but I still want to do this, so who cares? Essentially, as I mentioned in some of my character analysis videos of Eclipse, because there's a lot of them, I think that the child in the thumbnail in the episode where he quote unquote died was the original form of Eclipse AI. Like, essentially, imagine like just a child just being put in. They have innocence and everything, but they have no idea what's going on, and they're just seeing everything, and all they know is their emotions. That's essentially it. And basically, when, as it's said in a few videos, the only reason Solar is different is because he was willing to ask questions. When he took over Sun, he asked questions and he got answers. And that's what basically not made him go evil, but other Eclipses essentially just got angry and still just wanted revenge and still wanted answers, but they were too scared and they were forced into a role essentially. Which is what I call being forced into the villain's role. Essentially, we know when Eclipse first started out, Sun called him a headache whenever he tried to explore what was around him or essentially find out what was happening. Sun deliberately called him a headache, and of course, that would lead to him being forced into the villain role, which is, yeah, what we all kind of expected. So, here's the evidence that I've collected, and there is a good amount. Essentially, it's basically old moon versus the new moon. We know when he got reset that he was basically reset to his original AI. He still did have kind of a personality, but that personality wasn't traumatized, and it was just had no idea what was going on, essentially. It was reset, and it was given a purpose to protect their family from Eclipse. But we know the differences. They're a lot more compassionate, and the thing is, they do not know they have a something they can see of what they don't want to be. Like, for example, if you were to wake up one day with amnesia and you saw all your worst moments, you would want to try to make sure you amends all those mistakes, trying to become a better person as well. So essentially, that is part of the evidence that I have found. So yeah, I don't know if I'm explaining this all correctly. I'm trying. What else is there? Nature versus nurture. It's essentially basically your nature versus your nurture. Your nature is basically who you are and nothing that's not going to change, and the nurture is how you're brought up. Like, who you are as a person is affected by nurture, like your belief system, generational trauma, and all that is brought up from nurture. Nature is essentially who you are. Like, for example, take Wonka from from the new Wonka movie. Essentially, his nature is to just be optimistic and happy, but he still does know the dark side of the world, but he wants to believe that there is good because of the experiences from his past. Nature versus nurture is exactly like that. Moon, when he got reset, all of that nurture was gone and we were left with nature, which left us with our new moon. Also, something that I noticed that I do not think I've ever spoken about before is a subtle change of Eclipse's personality when Lunar was introduced. A bit of a change of emotion, I think, is the best way of saying it. Basically, I noticed like before then, Eclipse was constantly like, we are one, you gotta accept me back and all that kind of thing and all that, like very desperate. But again, if you want to find out why I believe this, go to the mind, muscle, and morality theory. Because none of it has really been disproved yet because it's that crazy that it can't be disproved until it's literally said that's not true. And essentially, since I'm calling the eclipse we have now new eclipse, like we call new moon, essentially, because they essentially are in the same situation, but Eclipse was programmed with memories, and he wasn't. But, as we know, with AI, with AI, as it's turned on, it evolves, like with every situation. Like Solar's, it became good and it wanted to do all that things, like kind of like your mental state and all that. That physically changes AI. When you copy that AI and don't reset it, you have that will to be good. But when you also put in those memories, you have a bunch of conflict. Like, for example, we know that Eclipse is currently doing a lot of things that the other one wouldn't do. It's like extremely confusing, but it's very entertaining to watch. So essentially, that is because of Solar's naturally good person from being basically raised by Sun, and that did have some effect on his personality, but they didn't reset it. Yes, he doesn't have the memories, but it does affect you as a person. Again, nature versus nurture. So Solar's nature versus nurture is conflicting with Eclipse's memories. So essentially, he's trying to decide what he wants because they're essentially combined at a point right now, basically combined. So, and a lot of different memories have a lot of loose ends, and he's trying to find those loose ends, aka questioning, which is what led Solar to become the person he was in the first place. So essentially, he is going down the same path because since it's technically a reset. The thing is, with the child in the thumbnail, what I like to believe is that that part of the innocence was saved by Solar when he was alive. So the innocence and wanting to believe that some people are good has gone into Eclipse. So yeah. What may happen, again, this may have been disproven. I haven't really watched that video yet, but I will, and I'm not reacting to it because, man, that would take forever. As we know, this is something. Eclipse could reset himself, basically recreating the child in the thumbnail, basically giving both him and Solar a new start. And basically, since I said the child in the thumbnail, yes, they would act childish, because I really, really want this. Also, he could copy his code, but not have the memories, in a new body, or Moon could do so. And I seriously just want I just want to, or something else. I just want to see this happen, them as kids and Moon caring for them because he was amazing with FC, okay? Alrighty, this is a small part of my biggest theory, essentially. And the family tree has big stuff to do with it, which is why I couldn't bring up a lot of things here, because then you'd be basically all over the place. I will gladly make another one of those videos, and yeah. So please, like, subscribe, and hit the bell button out and comment down below. I'll see you later, my kings and queens and the non-binary in-betweens. See you later.